Hey Dragon Slayers. So today's video is all about my reflections on the PE diet and where I'm at in my journey today. So it was very important to me to present the PE diet just straight, unabashed, with very little info about myself because I wanted to keep the focus on the diet and Dr. Ted Naiman. So I would sometimes, when time allowed, because I try to keep my videos to about 5 minutes, and if I had enough time, I would insert my opinion or what I'm doing, but I want to really dial down and focus on that because all of this is a personal journey. And so I want to show you guys how I have incorporated the PE diet into my own personal life. And so, to give you a little background, I returned from an overseas trip that was like 20 days long about 3 weeks ago. It started off great, but it ended in a total disaster. I ended up catching COVID probably like 2 days before I was supposed to fly back. So I ended up staying where I was at for another 4 days beyond what I had originally planned because I was basically trapped in that country. So I ordered takeout the entire time. I had no choice. I went as low carb as I possibly could during my extra days in the hotel, but it wasn't anywhere near the protein requirements that I should have been at. So I was sick for about 3 weeks total. So when you add up the 3 weeks of vacation plus the 3 weeks of COVID recovery, I was away from my normal protocol for 6 weeks, which is way longer than I ever wanted to be off. I thought I was going to be gone for like 2 weeks and that's it, come back, jump right back into it. But life throws a wrench in your plans. Also, when I'm on vacation, I don't follow any sort of protocol except I generally eat lowish carb and low to moderate ish carb, and I still fast bare minimum 12 hours a day. There is almost no scenario where I don't fast at least 12 hours a day, every day. I almost never eat breakfast either. I mean, I honestly, I guess if you define traditional breakfast time, it's probably anywhere from about 6 a.m. to I would say upwards of on the extreme end like 12 p.m. So on any given day, I almost never eat before 12 p.m. There's like a 99.9999 repeating forever chance that I'm not going to eat before 12 p.m. That's just what works for me. That's what I'm comfortable with. And it's something I will do. I started doing it in college and I will probably do it for the rest of my life. I don't really like breakfast food at the end of the day, the traditional breakfast foods. And after more than 15, almost probably more than 20 years of skipping breakfast, I just don't, I'm not hungry when I wake up ever. So why, right? Like, why do it? For some people, breakfast is their thing, and it's easier for them to skip dinner than it is to skip breakfast. And if you're like that, go for it. Knock yourself out. So, if you've been following for the channel for a long time, you've probably noticed that I've stopped doing my daily glucose check in. And I've stopped doing it primarily for two reasons. I had one of my subscribers say that it was hard for them to, if I had a cheat meal or whatnot, and they saw my glucose high, it was like filling them with anxiety. And so I stopped. I was like, okay, that's good feedback. I don't want to do that. I want you guys to be calm and relaxed and like I want to be your friend and help you get through this. So that was like primary reason. And the secondary reason, when I stopped showing the glucose every day when I was on vacation, I didn't realize how much time it saved in my videos. So I'm trying to cover sometimes very complex, very dense topics in 5 minutes. And spending a minute showing my glucose and talking about what I last ate takes up a whole lot of time, at least a minute plus, sometimes a minute and a half plus per video. So cutting that out is like a huge time saver. The third reason is that daily glucose actually isn't all that important. Averages are what matters. And that's why your A1C is the most important number by far. I will continue to share my A1C results with you guys at least twice a year when I get the test done, and I'm going to keep you informed on where I'm at all times on my personal journey. So knowing that, I've basically been off the path for 6 weeks, I'm going to share with you my average A1C. There were days where my glucose was 170 or 180 after a meal. There were days where my glucose was 200 plus after a meal. But when you look at my averages, okay, my average glucose for the past 7 days, if the screen will focus on it, is 110. So higher than normal, but not like detrimental or scary. For the past 14 days, it was 107. And then for the past 30 days, it was 110, right? And then the average for the past 90 days, which is going to be the closest number to my actual A1C, you can see that it is 112. So your average is what really matters. If you can't have a cheat meal, if a cheat meal sends you way off course, don't do it. It doesn't do that for me. I can still stay on course. I can pig out one night, go right back on track the next day. But that's me, right? You have to do what works best for you. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Really helps the channel out. And remember, guys, together, you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.